Welcome to Mindflow Radio.
We are creating conscious community by sharing mindful manifesting skills and transcendental music.
We are all in this together. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you. And when death comes, you are ready. Awakening to grace, flowing faith.
Mindflow Radio.
Mindflow Radio.
She's Jai Lynn.
And he's Monte.
And we're here broadcasting from beautiful Viroqua, Wisconsin.
It is pretty beautiful.
It's a great little city.
I agree.
And we're going to talk about grace today.
I was thinking about reading the verse 16 of Tao Te Ching.
Oh.
I did a little Googling just to see if that was a good, or what was a good verse for talking about grace. And I thought maybe it could help us structure our conversation.
Well, and grace is a very interesting word. I mean, it's used in many different ways. And the Christians use it as a word that, God rains his grace down onto us, even though we don't necessarily deserve it.
Sure.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love that, and then,
okay.
I mean, and I practice Tai Chi, and that's about being graceful too. And Tai Chi is based on like being in harmony with nature, moving and being in harmony with nature.
It's not just nature, though. It's like being in harmony with the divine as well.
Well, nature, I mean, the divine
nature
is part
divine.
of... Yeah, the divine is...
Right, of course.
Creator, but... Yeah, so grace is a very interesting word. And just as we just mentioned different ways of awakening and a soulful type of awakening, like getting more and more and more in touch with our soul, to me, is a way to be in grace. Like the soul is always in grace in all of us, but it just gets buried.
Right.
If the ego is overpowering,
if
the ego is overbearing, the soul kind of gets, but we still have it in us.
Yeah.
We still have that grace in us, and all of us have it.
Reconnect with it.
Yeah. Right. And how do we do that?
That's been my search for the last few weeks. Yeah. So let me go ahead and read verse 16. I know that in the past we were reading one after the other, trying to be consecutive, but I'm skipping to
so this
verse
is from the
16.
Tao Te Ching, which is a Taoist book written by Lao Tzu approximately 2,500 years ago.
And this is a translation by Stephen Mitchell. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you, and when death comes, you are ready. Whoa.
Wow, man, I love that.
That was potent.
And and one thing that stuck with me is that just know that we all return to the Tao and view other people from that perspective. And
absolutely.
how close, and we're all essentially sort of disconnected from the Tao, and maybe to get connected, that's to be in that place of awakening, or
absolutely.
a mystical, the Christians would call it like a mystical experience.
Or faith. I've been really thinking about faith, and I'll just share. I'm Carolyn Mace is someone that I've studied under for years now, and my dear friend who's a guest on this show often, Erin Swigum, she has gotten me back to Carolyn Mace recently, well, maybe a month ago, and we have been listening to The Power of Holy Language together. and separate, of course, but in the vibe together and been able to discuss it together. And that's been awesome. And I definitely suggest it. It is only an audiobook. It is not available to read, which I wanted to because I wanted to reference it. It's so amazing. And Carolyn Myss talks about to get into grace is to have faith in yourself. And to have faith in yourself is to open your intuition and receive the guidance of God, basically. And that to me was a huge eye-opener as someone who's doubted everything, worried about everything. I can do all the practices in the world. I can meditate every morning and night. I can do my Tai Chi. I can do my yoga. I can contemplate all of these things, but I've felt this missing piece for so long and been seeking it and asking teachers everywhere that I can connect with, like, what's missing in me. And of course, most of them say, it's in you. It's in you. You just have to listen. And I'm like, oh, that's not helpful. So this book, the timing of it and the timing, of course, I was ready to hear this. And
so is you talk about having faith in yourself. Is that having faith in your soul? Is that the same?
It's having faith in grace.
In everything.
Yeah, it's opening that door again.
Well, it's accepting your soulful reality plus having faith that your ego is going to do the right thing, perhaps, and that everything will work out eventually. Well,
you have control over your ego. You don't think so? Well, okay,
some
people don't, but I feel like, well, when I get worried, when I get triggered, is that the ego?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess you don't have control, but sometimes you do have control.
But if we do have, I think we have the ability to recognize it when the ego is like taking control of us or of our consciousness. And the soulful perspective is just being like shut up or quieted, and it's like in the back of the room, real quiet, just waiting.
Yeah.
And the ego's shouting.
Oh, I know.
And so we can recognize that that's happening. Maybe we just have to, once we recognize it, it disempowers the ego right there. And the ego starts to quiet down a little bit. And then the soul just starts becoming brighter and brighter in our consciousness.
Yeah. And I really think that for our soul to speak up more, we have to listen. So when we get guidance to do something, and then we're like, well, what would people say? And what will they think of me? Then your soul gets quieter. Like, you didn't listen.
Well, another potential problem is the ego will try and give us guidance and masquerade as the soul,
Exactly.
And it's like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do this. It would just be, that would be so cool. I would just look so cool if I was doing that. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that might be from your ego.
Yeah. One thing Carolyn Myss said in the book, The Power of Holy Language, is that God doesn't give you the why. God doesn't give you, go do this because. So when you hear this because in your mind, if you get this long rationale of why this is good, there's a good chance it's trickery in your mind. It's your ego. It's a shadow. So watch for that. If you feel this grand explanation, there's a good chance it's not from your angels. It's not from the divine. It's from trickery.
Or your soul,
Well, your soul's not trickery.
No. I mean, it's not, the message is not from your soul.
Right.
It's from the ego, which tricks us into believing we're like being spiritual or whatever. I mean, just throughout history, that's been the way it is. I mean, wars have been started because somebody's ego is like so strong, and that ego tricks out a bunch of egos into believing they're doing a spiritual thing by going to war.
Politics.
And whatever.
That's politics. We can mask politics as soulful, but it's generally not true.
Well, just wait till it is soulful.
Yeah. I don't think we'll be alive for that.
Oh, yeah, we will. Well, who knows? I mean, it could be next life.
Yeah, I mean, supposedly the golden age is still 150 years away.
Yeah,
so
but also
we're just setting the seeds.
The light is one. The light is dominant.
Yeah.
Perhaps on this planet. I mean, I tend to believe that because I tend to
That's to be in grace, right?
I feel it. Yeah. Well, and that's really grace. I mean, one way of looking at grace is it's a type. It's a particular quality of feeling. Mm-hmm. And I can feel it when I'm there. And like ego excitement is a different type of feeling. Mm-hmm. You know,
Where
can
do
feel
you feel
good.
it?
I don't know if it's a where thing.
Okay, so it's not somewhere in your body? Is it in your mind or is it like in your brain, your head?
If I'm in grace?
Yeah.
It's, essentially, and I'm not trying to use this as a cop-out, it is essentially beyond words, but I'll try my best.
Okay, sounds good.
It's an energy just that feels light. It feels exciting, but not too exciting. It feels, there's a neutral sense to it, which in the Tao Te Ching, that thing you read, he mentioned disinterested. Mm-hmm. So there's that neutrality of just being the witness, finding amusement, but having compassion for everybody.
Yeah.
And so there's all those components for me when I'm in grace. I'm in that place. Mm-hmm. And then the ego can come in and start like tripping that up.
Yeah.
Making me feel scared.
Yeah. That's what happens to me big time.
And no. And then the ego will take me into some worst case scenario, thoughts. Mm-hmm. And if I just let that roll and roll and roll, then my ego's in charge of me again. Mm-hmm. But if I notice it and be like, this is unproductive, and try and reboot my mind or try and re-steer my mind into a more soulful place. And then that's essentially, that's where our, we are free to make that decision, if we're aware of it.
Right.
If we're not aware of it, essentially we don't have freedom because the soul just runs us. Run, and we don't have the freedom to break out of that prison. But if we can notice what's going on and know that there actually is a soulful perspective in us somewhere and in everybody else, then we're free to make that decision of, I'm tired of this ego perspective. I'm going to try and re-steer it into a soulful one.
That's the training the mind piece.
Yeah.
Training our mind, our personal mind, is the key to awakening to perspective. Like you said, you can't fix something that you don't know exists.
Right.
And you can't open to the awareness of everyone's soulful existence until you train your mind, until you take until you implement the tools that you've learned over time. Yeah. And that's what I've been experiencing is I've been on this path for 20 years and I'm implementing all these tools and I've got my meditations down and, you know, and that has been definitely a big part of my growth and my ability to see the pieces that could be unseen if I didn't know how to see them. But there's just been this missing piece inside of how do I feel this versus how do I just go through the motions and do this practice. Yeah. And that's been a beautiful transition for me to actually feel.
Right. And it sounds like a quantum leap in your development.
Yeah. And I want to share because why not, right? That's what this is about, is sharing our growth. And I'm somebody who gets super anxious when I can't see the road very good. And I'm a really good driver, or, I think I'm a really good driver and
Yeah, you're
very
a good
safe.
driver. Yeah.
But if it's nighttime, I get really anxious because I can't see the sides and I can't see the deer and I have all this anxiety. And another one is rain. It's raining really hard and I can't see.
Yeah.
And I go right into every muscle in my body is tight. I'm scared. AF, and I am just like, oh my goodness, I might die right now.
Yeah.
And I've been really contemplating faith in myself and what is self-esteem. And I've really been working with this strongly for weeks now. Like, how do I do this? How do I implement self-esteem when I've never really had it? What is this? And I know that building my practice has given me some sort of self-esteem.
Yeah.
But usually in these triggered moments, I lose it completely and go back to subservient postures, attitudes, and behaviors. Yeah. And so here I am driving down the road. I'd had a really scary experience where I thought that I had part of a lane, but I didn't. And it just like all of a sudden merged. And here I am. It's pouring rain. It's foggy. And I'm in between all of these semis. And my muscles all clench up. I'm holding the wheel as tight as anyone can hold the wheel.
And this happened yesterday.
Yeah, it happened when it rained recently.
Or 2 days ago. I'm just trying to give everybody the idea. This event just recently happened.
Yeah, it just recently happened. And so I'm going back into my old trigger. And I'm just like, oh my God, I might die. And then, of course, I think of my family and, oh my gosh, I haven't written my will yet. Of course, I'm just going into all of the worst case scenario, like you're saying. And all of a sudden, I was like, I have faith in myself. And it was instant. Wow. This feeling of, I'm going to be okay. And my shoulders dropped. I let go of the wheel some, I wasn't clutching super, super hard anymore. And I was like, I can do this. I'm a good driver. I have faith in my driving. I have faith that I'll be guided and I'll know what to do when. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay. And for me, this is huge.
Yeah.
If anyone's ever traveled with me out there, they know that if it's raining, if it's snowing, or if it's dark, I need some CBD because I can't make it through it.
Well, you just did. And
it was amazing.
Able to counter the anxiety.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly. It was like
through having faith.
Faith. It was like this
faith in yourself.
True faith. Like I wasn't just saying it. I was feeling it. I was saying, I have faith in myself.
And you felt it.
I do. I really do. I'm not just saying it. I'm not trying to convince myself. And it was like everything that I've been contemplating for weeks now just snapped into place. And I was like, oh, I'm okay. So that's what it feels like for me. And that's a pretty, we know when we go into a crisis, if we can implement this stuff in a crisis, that we've actually got it. Because I can say this on the mat, I can say this on my cushion, meditating, and I can totally do this.
Right.
But it's when you actually need it, if you can implement it. It's like Tai Chi, we practice our Tai Chi, but when, there's something coming at us and we actually block, and it's instantaneous and effortless. That's when we know it's inside of us.
Yeah, it's true.
So, that's my little share on how it feels.
Well, good job at connecting with that faith.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, when you say I have faith in myself, it just kind of reminds me of faith in my own soul, faith that I'm connected with the universe, faith that I have angels. I mean, there's all these components to that.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's easier said than done. And a lot of people might say that, but to really be in that place and to feel it.
Yeah.
That's what's amazing.
That's the trick.
I mean, that's that quantum leap.
Yes, absolutely. And what just went through my mind is how we've all been, well, anyone who's been raised in a church or raised in any kind of spiritual / religious background, we've been trained to have faith. Like you said, we can speak it, we can say it, we can sing it, we can preach it.
We can parrot the words really well.
Yeah, but how many people actually can greet their deathbed with grace and faith? A lot of people are just so afraid. And why I say that, I know that sounded like out on left field, but the last sentence here
in the Tao Te Ching,
in the verse 16, immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you.
Yeah.
And when death comes, you're ready.
Yeah.
And this makes me think of, and kudos to Carolyn Mace and all the training I've done under her. But she's talking about the archetypes of our culture and how the vampire is a really big archetype right now, and how we long for life, even if it's not vital. We long to extend our life.
Right.
Like we're trying to outlive something.
Well, again, that's the ego talking, chattering, controlling us.
And it's also the intense fear we have of the unknown.
Right. Well, because of the ego.
Right.
The ego is like, when I die, I'm going to cut my head off and freeze it.
Okay, that was wow.
But really, people do that.
I want to finish my thought about the vampire. So we're surrounding ourselves with this vampiric energy, and we're totally okay with that because we're offered life. Oh, well, we could give you this surgery, we can give you this medicine, we can do this for you, and it might extend your life for 5 years. It might. There's a chance. What's the quality of life? And that's where I feel that we need, as a culture, to face this faith question. This faith, well, it's not a question, it's a state of being.
Yeah.
If we can face this faith state of being and really just pray for grace.
Yeah.
Then we can overcome this vampiric energy that we're choosing at this time. As a culture, we're choosing to look to the immortality of physical flesh that's actually not possible. So, and I'm not saying, anything weird, but I'm trying to portray the importance of the individual seeking real faith, seeking real grace, getting in the Tao, getting in harmony with the divine.
Yeah.
And everything that means, the divine in you, the divine in the neighbor, divine in the animals, the divine in the trees, the divine in the rivers, the divine in the government, the divine, if we could tap into individually, this is an individual process, but it affects the collective.
Oh, for sure. That's how the collective evolves.
Yeah.
And I think it's happening, really. I think a lot of people are just getting to that point of just like, I kind of want to have compassion for everybody. Yeah, I think that thought is like That's just cool. Spreading. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that you feel that the light has won. And I think that's a definite good reality to have, and I also feel that we have to be in the moment and know when shadow's messing with us.
Right, which is like all the time in this culture, really. I mean,
right.
But, in my belief that the light is winning, that's just a belief. I just want to say that. I mean, I'm not pretending like I know for sure anything, but it sure feels that way to me. And I see it, and I know for sure it doesn't seem that way when you're when you're watching the news or something.
Sure. Yeah.
Of course, that talk about the dark, talk about ego,
not
manipulation,
only are they,
all that.
They're not talking about the manipulation. It is manipulation.
Well, it is manipulation.
But it's an energy that we tap into. We subscribe to it. Whatever we give our energy to is a subscription,
for sure.
And it becomes this energy draw. And if you think of yourself as a bank, right? And you have $100 that you renew every day, and however you spend it is what you invest in, right? So if you watch the news and that takes $5 in the morning and $5 at night, and shoot, if you listen to some radio shows that drag you down, that's $5 a show,
Yeah.
And then you have a conversation with your friend and it's all about the news, and that's another $5, and you get to this place where you're out of your $100. It's 5 p.m.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
You go in debt.
You go in debt. And what does that
currency.
mean? Your energetic currency actually pulls from your physical body.
Okay.
And that's how these physical diseases happen.
Yeah.
When we have a physical problem, it has been in the energy field around us. It's been in the spiritual. It's been in the energetic. It's been in our emotions. It's been in our mind. And then if we still haven't stopped it, it makes it to our body. And this, to me, is a really big opportunity to say, hey, let's check in to the energy. Let's check into how we're banking.
Yeah, I like that idea of we have like $100 worth of energy units. Because you can look at those energy units just like prana or chi.
Absolutely.
I mean, that really simplifies it. You have 100 energy units of prana. How are you going to spend it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm going to spend 75 units on like arguing on Facebook. I mean, that's not very wise, essentially, because it's draining.
Super draining.
Yeah.
And then you think about it for the rest of the day. The arguments or whatever.
Oh, yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
And they're all egoistic types of arguments, 99.9% of the time.
Right. And I don't think that
it's like one ego versus the other.
So I'm saying like 100 units of energy if you had a good night's sleep.
Okay.
So then there's that. So say, what you said, say you get on a Facebook argument before bed. Yeah. And then how's your sleep? So then you're not even getting your 100 units the next morning because you weren't able to sleep because you had nightmares and ruminating all through the night and tossing and turning. And then you wake up and you only have 50 units this time. Yeah. Now what are you going to do?
For sure.
And this is really what's happening in our culture.
Well, it is. And in a way, we're being just culturally speaking, I feel like there's a lot of exploitation happening because we do have the habit of ruminating. Mm-hmm. We do. And it's just part of our cultural conditioning right now. Mm-hmm. And if we can reduce that, and if we have the freedom of will to like not look at the news, let's take back to the idea of taking a media fast. Oh, I'm not going to look at the news for a week. Sure. Oh, I'm not going to even look at Facebook or really minimize it or whatever.
There's the other side of that though, and it's believing that you are a valuable contributor of the future.
Oh, yeah.
So we've been taught that watching the news is how we contribute by being in the know, right?
Yeah.
But really, that's not true.
No.
That's just kind of rolling the rock down the hill as fast as it can go, because we're speeding its momentum.
Oh.
We're creating this snowball effect.
Right.
But if we actually want to be what melts that snow or what stops that stone from destroying the town below,
Yeah.
we realize the value of our own energy, the value of our own focus, the value of training our mind.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's so key with many conversations that I've had recently of feeling like, well, it's selfish. It's selfish to focus on myself, but really there's nothing more you can do than master yourself, because again, we're a collective.
Well, right.
And if we focus on our piece of the collective, we can ripple out, shift the energy around us.
So actually, it's just the opposite of selfish. It's really caring about everybody.
Yeah.
And you want to put this high quality of energy out into our culture.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's the media fast is a part of that.
Can be.
But if you don't have the other piece, then it's, just fighting boredom.
Right. Ego gets bored easy.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, but I really want to know. I feel like I don't know what's going on. Or isn't there something, fear of missing out, FOMO? It's like, oh, well, what if I miss something on the news, especially if you're really into it,
Yeah.
So I think that it's not only not watching the news. I think there's realizing that you are valuable.
Yeah.
Your essence is valuable. How you light up your essence, how you listen to your essence, how do you connect with your faith, how do you, I think faith is the connection to your essence, your soul, your real purpose on this life. And right now, at this time, we are all so valuable and important in the seeds of the future.
For sure.
Every day, every moment, every choice that we make.
Yeah.
Our choices of what to focus on, our choices of how to spend our energy units.
Yeah.
This is so, I can't even tell you how important you are. You are here now. You are a miracle.
Yeah.
You are a part of a shift, a transition in humanity, of the world,
You can be.
of the collective.
Yeah.
But you got to train your mind.
Yeah. You have to be able to watch your mind and learn.
And know that you're worth it. Know that it's not even that you're worth it, is that the value of training your mind changes the collective.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you change the world, is by working on yourself.
Yes.
So that's my little pep talk.
Yeah, and I one of the ways it works too is the more in harmony we become with the Tao or with the universe through training our minds, we'll begin to notice like various opportunities begin to present themselves. So it's not like there are real, tangible, positive results to this type of work.
Yeah.
And one of those tangible results are just the circumstances that present themselves to us.
Yeah, I'd say that's the grace. We're becoming aware of the grace we're being presented with.
Well, the grace is flowing through us at that point. And and the universe most likely appreciates it. And most likely rewards us for being able to do that. And I'm not saying I'm able to do it all the time, because I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's a work in process.
It is a work in process.
I know it's worth putting effort into, because I've tasted the fruit in the past.
Yeah.
And I might not be in the flow right at this moment, or I may be, but I know it's there for me.
That's a faith.
Okay, yeah, right. I have faith in that for sure. And I do have faith that we're all soulful beings, every single person on this earth. And we're all essentially steeped in miracles just by being here. I mean, we've all beaten the odds. All our ancestors have beaten the odds. Just go back in your mind 10,000 years, all your ancestors were able to live long enough to procreate, and it was passed on and on and on and on.
Yeah, and on. They were able to keep the children alive.
Yeah, for 100,000 years. It's like, what are the odds of that? And here we are.
Yep.
We're like the end of the tree. We're like the bud. And I just feel strongly that it's our responsibility now that we're able to shift into a new consciousness, that we take that. We take the challenge and we try.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, now we can. Now is the first time in history when we have access to all this amazing
knowledge.
Yeah, from the yoga, from the Chinese, from where all these different
Celtics,
traditions.
I mean, add it all together.
Right.
Add it all together.
Yeah.
So I want to just touch on what you said, that you have the belief that the light has won. And I just want to touch on this because we're going to do a guided meditation here next. And I want to explain why that kind of a statement is so important in training your mind. And I've got a mentor right now, Sharon Reggie Maynard, and she has been working with me on different healing protocols, and one of them is called a reality shift. And basically, you look at your life and how do you wish to shift it? And so it's similar to affirmation, but different because the way that you hold this energy. So you saying the light has won is a reality shift statement because you are voting on it. You're voting, you're giving your energy to that.
Yeah, with my belief.
With your belief. And that is not to say that you are skipping over that there's shadow present.
Right.
That is to say you're voting on the light.
Yeah.
And so when you pick statements to work on your reality shift, and it's definitely helpful to work with someone in particular to help you and bounce ideas off of, but you can do this on your own.
For sure.
And the idea is that you think about what is it in you that you want to develop that moves you towards your goal. And what is your goal? I think all of our goal is to be a part of the change. We all want to see the world be better, happier, joyful, loving.
I don't know. Most of us want that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So most of us, of course.
Probably. Yeah.
So what in you needs to develop? And I'll just share my statement right now is I have faith that I'm in grace. So that's, I've been saying that and now I'm feeling it. So it's something that first you put it out there and you protect it with what I call the guardian circle meditation. And that's what we're going to do next. So I just wanted to give that a little bit of energy so you can think about like what is a statement that would help you shift your reality. And is there anything else I want to say about the meditation? Yeah, I'm just going to guide a meditation and you enjoy it. If you have questions, there's a way to get a hold of me through Facebook or Mindflow Radios on Facebook, and Temple of the Mind is on Facebook. You could also email me.
YouTube.
Yeah, this meditation will make it to YouTube as well, so you can reuse it. I'm creating it at a request of someone that I was talking with that said, "Hey, can you record this? Because I'd really like to use this as my meditation background."
Mindflow Radio.
Yeah, Mindflow Radio. So contemplate that for the month, right? We'll be back in a month, and contemplate grace, faith, and how do you bring those into existence? How do you want to spend your energy? And it's not easy to shift habits, but it's possible. And you can use willpower to choose faith. It's absolutely possible. And I hope that you enjoy this coming meditation. And do you have any thoughts that you'd like to share to wrap up our conversation?
Yeah, I've just found that for myself, trying to walk this path has been not always easy, but very rewarding. And just be easy on yourself. There's always the 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of process. So 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 more steps forward.
Yeah.
And know that that's natural. That's the way things go. A lot of us, we make progress, then we fall back. We're like, oh, can't do it. And the only real failure is quitting. And that's from a great musician I played with, told me that. The only way to really fail is to quit, is to stop. So, persevere. Perseverance is a big deal. And
willpower. Choose. Make the choice.
Yeah, be able to really be that neutral, mindful witness of where your mind is at. Where are your thoughts? Notice that. Take a look at that. See it clearly. Don't judge it. But when your thoughts are unproductive, such as you're ruminating or it doesn't feel good, try and shift that consciousness. Find productive thoughts. Create productive thoughts. And just be nice to yourself.
Yeah, that's always a good idea.
Nice self-talk is a big deal.
Yeah.
But that's a whole new can of worms.
Yeah, we'll open that one next time.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, be well, y'all, and please enjoy this meditation. Take a few deep breaths and feel yourself settling into yourself, your body, your mind, your heart, your energy field, all together with your breath. Calling in our guardian circles, each of us individually sitting in the center of a guardian circle, sensing this however you wish, visually, and sensing it energetically, like a protective, nurturing field of energy around you. It is safe and sacred. Calling in your spirit teams and your angels. And feel your spirit team hovering around you, witnessing you, nurturing you. Knowing that they are with you, sensing their presence. Bringing to mind the reality shift you wish to develop in your life. And stating, I align with the divine, assuring that this meditation and this journey is connected with the divine. And the guardian circle is helping to assure that as well. Knowing that the drum will hold space for you. will be the anchor of this journey. And trusting, having faith in the journey that you will go to the realm of answers, guiding you towards that reality shift that you wish. And taking a few breaths to gather your insights around you. Feeling yourself present. May this guide you in your shifts towards the life you wish to lead. Namaste.